Hey! Welcome to D is for Delicious Cookie Decorating Kit. We are doing these super fun beach themed cookies. I think they're so fun. I hope you like them as much as I do. They're really fun. So, grab everything from your kit, cookies, all your icing, and then you'll need a few more things. A pair of scissors, some napkins or paper towels, and toothpicks. And also, if you want, you have some sprinkles that came with your kit. I think it makes it easier to use the sprinkles if you have a bowl to put them in. So, we have all those things. Let's start with practicing using that icing. You should have a practice sheet that came in your kit. We're gonna get that. Let's pick a color to start practicing with. I'm gonna use this teal. So you're gonna take scissors and cut just a little bit off the tip of the bag. You can always cut it bigger if you feel like it's too small. So you wanna start out real small. You just need to have enough icing come out to maybe cover these lines. So I'm gonna start practicing with just these straight lines. And you just wanna get a feel for how fast the icing comes out. Just get some practice in. So when you're using your icing, you never want the bag to actually touch the cookie. So you want it real close, but you're not gonna let the bag touch the cookie. That would just smear it and make it not look as nice. So I did some straight lines, I made some mistakes. It's okay, we're just practicing. I'm gonna practice this little loop here. Practice getting some curvy lines. And you can do as much or as little practice as you want. I'm gonna do a lot of practice because I haven't decorated cookies in a really long time. I'm definitely practicing circles. Circles, I'm not sure why, they're like a really hard design to do. So I'm definitely getting some circle practice in. And then we're gonna be ready to ice some cookies. All right, now, the way we're gonna decorate these cookies is we're gonna kind of do it in 3 steps. We're gonna outline all of them, then we'll flood them, which is filling them in with color, and then afterwards we'll go on top and put all the details in. So I'm gonna start with this shape right here, a flip-flop. So I'm gonna use yellow, but really any of these colors would look good for a flip-flop. You can pick whichever one you want. I'm gonna pick yellow. And I'm just going to go around the edge, not too close to the edge because then it might fall off. But you want to get it pretty close so then you can get icing all the way to the edge of your cookie. Because I think the more icing on your cookie, the better. Some of my lines I think were a little thin, so I'm thickening them up a little bit. But that's all we're going to do to outline that. So I think we'll do this whale next. I'm going to use teal for that. I'm just going to start, go around here, come down here and make this little separation for his tail. And then all the way around. And that's all you need to do for that. For this surfboard shape, you could do a couple different colors, and so what you want to do is wherever you're going to fill in a color, you want to outline with that color too. So then you can separate different colors. So we'll grab some orange for the top. Up here is a little bite where it looks like a shark has attacked this surfboard. So go those little edges there. I'll come to maybe here, and then just do a diagonal line. So then we can have some more color on this cookie. I'm gonna grab my white and do the bottom of this. So if you make any mistakes, mistakes while you're outlining, it's super easy to fix. You just grab your toothpicks and you can just scrape off anything you don't like. I don't like this little spot here. I'm gonna scrape it off. If you had a big spot you needed to fix, you could just scrape it right off and then grab icing and do it again. This part of the process, take your time. You can fix anything you don't like because this is really going to be like the foundation for where the color goes on the cookies. So you want to make sure you really are happy with your outlining before you move on. So take your time. Don't be afraid to stop, scrape some stuff off and redo it. I'm going to do a shell next. I think I want my bag cut a little bit wider. I think I want my outlining a little bit. If your outlining is a little bit thicker, it keeps it from overflowing when you're gonna when you're gonna flood your cookie to fill it in with color. You can get more icing on and not have it overflow if you've got thicker outline. So this shell is a fun shape because it has all these little scallopy edges. So we're gonna give it some fun little scallops along it. And then come down here. That's gonna be a fun one. Next, I'm going to do this starfish shape. I'm gonna use teal again. And this is a fun shape because it's a star, but it also has a little bit of curves in it. So it's not like a perfectly straight star. It's fun. So I'm just gonna outline it. It's all gonna be teal, so I'm just gonna use my teal for the whole outline. And then last, we have this cute little fish, which is a fun shape to use two colors on again. One color for the body and then a different color for the fins. Kind of like how this one is. You could do it that way. I'm gonna add, I think, even a little more color for the tail. So let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna start with yellow. I think I want this a little bit lighter. I'm just gonna start with yellow and I'm gonna put the tail on first. So then I know, I think it's easier to put a tail on first and then fill in with the rest of the body. I'm gonna switch to orange. And I'm not gonna put I'm not gonna outline those fins. I'm just gonna come around the body. And then come in and put fins on. So the fish is fun if you wanna break up the cookie into some different colors. Just have some different areas for different colors. And now all our outlining is done. We're gonna move on to filling in with flooding. So now we're going to fill in all the cookie with icing, which we call flooding. So you're gonna I'm gonna start with my starfish because it's some of these are gonna be a little more complicated. Starfish is nice and simple. We're just gonna fill it all in with one color. So I'm gonna take my teal or whatever color you did your starfish, and we're gonna cut the tip open a little bit more. We want it a little wider, so we have a lot of icing coming out. It just makes it go faster. And the faster you work with flooding, the smoother your cookie will be. So you know those cookies that are real flat on top? You kind of want to work fast to get that look. So I'm just going to start filling in with icing. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. Some people like to outline and then kind of fill in the middle. You'll kind of get used to it. Just practice and you'll see what feels comfortable for you. But you're just gonna get lots of icing all over the cookie and then kind of be swirling your bag around, swirling the tip around to kind of smooth it out as you're going. And once you get a good amount of icing on, you can grab a toothpick and just finish smoothing out spots. There might be some areas like over in the corner I didn't get all the way to the edge. I'm gonna move it all the way to the corners there. And if there's any spot where it's sticking up, just swirling your toothpick around a little in it. Get the icing moving and it'll smooth it out. All right, next let's do, I think I'm gonna work on this fish next. I'm gonna cut my yellow open a little bit wider. Not too wide, because some of these areas we're filling in are pretty little. So I'm just gonna go slowly here so I don't overflow. If you do overflow, that's totally normal. It happens all the time. Don't worry about it while the icing is wet. It's much easier to clean it up after the icing is dried. You can take a toothpick and kind of scrape it off. It's a lot easier when it's dry. If you kind of try to fix it when it's wet, it just kind of keeps overflowing. So don't worry about it if it overflows. I'm gonna do those little parts. Then I'm gonna take my orange, cut it a little bit bigger, and flood in here. You have to be careful in the spots where the two colors touch, that you don't overflow and mix the colors in. You kind of want nice, clean boundaries there. I'm gonna grab a toothpick and just smooth out some of these spots. But you can kind of see even some of the spots I thought I was gonna have to fix, the icing just kind of floods in and as it's drying, it gets smoother and smoother. So, the more it sits, you'll see it'll smooth it out even more. I'm gonna come over, I think I'm gonna work on this surfboard next. The top is gonna be orange here. So I'll start with that, just fill it in. And then we're gonna do something fun on the bottom here. A lot of the detail that we're gonna get on the cookies is gonna be done after this part. We're gonna let this dry and then go on top and put some detail in. But some detail we can do in this flooding stage, and we're gonna do that on this surfboard to get a little flower. So I'm gonna be filling this in with white, so I'm gonna cut it a little bit wider. But then I want another color to put that little flower in, and you wanna have that ready. You wanna go ahead and have that color ready while this is still wet, we're gonna put it in there. So whatever color you want to put for that flower, have it ready. And then let's flood this part white. Get it smoothed out a little bit. Get it all the way to the edges here. These points down here. Maybe I need a little more icing on this. Maybe not. Maybe just smooth it out a little more. So now for this flower, I'm gonna grab another color. I think I'll do yellow. And right in the wet icing, I'm gonna put a circle like this, and then a little dot in there. And then I'm gonna grab a toothpick while it's still wet, and I'm just gonna drag forward into the center, drag it through. I'm not going all the way to the bottom of the cookie, but I am putting it in pretty far into the icing, so it's swirling that icing into a little flower in the middle. So next I'm gonna do this, I think I'm gonna do my flip-flop next. And there's lots of different things you can do with a flip-flop. There's so many fun designs you could do. I'm gonna put some polka dots in it, and I'm gonna do it while the icing's still wet. I'll show you how to do that. And then, because it creates like really flat polka dots. So I think it looks really cool, and it's fun to do on a flip-flop. So you want to have two colors ready. I'm gonna do yellow, and then I think I'm gonna put some orange polka dots in. So I'm gonna have my orange ready too. So first I'm just gonna start by flooding in with my yellow, or whatever your background color you want it to be. So we'll start with that. And this is another one where you kind of want to work fast, so you can have polka dots that are nice, and I like polka dots that are really flat. So I'll fill in with that one. I have some spots where it didn't get all the way to the edge, so I'm going to take that icing all the way to the edge, smooth out some spots here. And now while this is still wet, I'm going to grab orange, and I'm just going to put some little dots, just barely touch down and then pick back up. And you can put as many in as you want, big ones, real tiny ones. I'm just going to go through, put these in. And then they're still sticking up, but you see how at the beginning, the ones I did first are starting to smoothen out? I might poke these down a little bit. But as this sits, those are just gonna flatten out more and create a really cool look. I like that. So with this whale, I think I'm gonna put sprinkles on him. So grab your sprinkles. You want to put them in while your flooding is still wet. So grab your sprinkles. I got my bowl of sprinkles. I have that ready. And then I'm going to grab my teal. I'm going to start filling this in. This is a big cookie. We got lots of icing to put on here. Go around that tail part. I think this whale should have some sprinkles on his belly, because I think that'll just be fun. So while it's still wet, I'm going to grab my sprinkles, and I'm just going to put some down along here. You can put as much or as little as you want. I think that's fun. And the icing's still wet, so the sprinkles are gonna sink down a little bit and stick really good. Okay, this shell, this is a fun shape to do, because we're gonna do something that we call marbling. So it's another thing where you put some designs in while the icing's still wet. So you wanna have your color for your background ready, and then maybe one or two other colors. So I'm going to start with my background color, just this white, and flood it in. I think it's kind of easier to start on the outside, get all those spots in there. And then I'm going to come in and fill in the middle. This is kind of like what we did with the flower on the surfboard. We're going to create a design with by dragging a toothpick in it. I don't even need to get this very smooth because we're going to be dragging a toothpick through it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my color right away. I think I'll put some orange in. And I'm just going to create some lines that kind of go across but arching a little over the shell. Like that. And then I'm going to grab a toothpick and I'm going to drag it from the outside into the middle, and it's going to create a scallop look for the shell. And you can see on this cookie we did two colors there. I'm just going to do one for that, and that's a really fun look for that. So now all of our flooding is done. Now before we move on to putting more detail in, we want this icing to be set and totally dry, because otherwise the details will just get kind of mixed up too much in the cookie. So we're gonna let this dry. You know it's dry when the icing loses all of the shine on it. It'll be more of a matte finish. It should take about 30 minutes, an hour. Just have fun, go have a snack, and then we'll come back and finish. Okay, so while you're waiting for them to dry, we're gonna rebag some of these. Since some of these have a really wide opening for flooding, we want a smaller opening to be able to get some really small detail in. So you have extra bags in your kit, and we're gonna just put some of these icing colors in new bags. So to do that, you take the bag, maybe squeeze some of the icing down towards the bottom if there's too much up here so we don't lose a lot. And then you're gonna cut a big hole in it. And then take your new bag, open it up, put the old one right inside, and then you're gonna squeeze the icing into the new bag. And then you can tie this in a knot, or if you want to put maybe a twisty tie around it, a rubber band, whatever you want to close it. So you're gonna do that with any colors that you want to use for detailing for the next step. So now if you have your colors rebagged, we can start our final decorating. I'm gonna start with the flip-flop. It has a really simple, we're just gonna put that strap that goes on top of it. So you can pick whatever color you want for that. I think I'll do this green here. And you're gonna cut a nice small hole now, since we're detailing. And you're just gonna come over to the side and just draw some lines where the strap of a flip-flop would be. I'm gonna go over them a couple times to make them thicker. It's real easy. Doesn't have to be perfect. And that's all I'm gonna do to that. That one's done. So for this whale, we have a couple of different designs here that we have. This is a girly whale with some eyelashes and a little heart. I'm gonna make a boy whale with my sprinkles on his belly. I'm gonna grab a black and cut a hole in it, cut it open real small, and I'm gonna give him just a little eye, just a little dot, and then I'm gonna give him a little mouth too with this black, just a little smile. Maybe a little dot on the end of the smile too. And I think that's all I'm gonna do for him. For this surfboard, we could just put some little designs on it. It looks nice if it has maybe a line covering up where there's two colors joined together. So I'm gonna grab the orange, trim that bag, and then I'm just gonna make a nice straight line to cover up that. Just make it look a little bit cleaner. And then you could put more designs on here. I think I'm gonna put a few dots on here with my black. And then that's done. So for the shell, I'm gonna grab my white, and we're gonna put those like stripe designs where how the shell has all those different lines going across it. We're gonna make that on a shell. I'm gonna move this cookie a little bit. Sometimes I can't work if the cookie's not straight up and down to me. So I'm gonna start by just outlining this shell, just to give its edge, make it look a little crisper around the edge. Come down there, just to clean it up a little bit. And now I'm gonna draw some straight lines from these outside scallops here all the way down to the bottom. And that's just gonna give it some more texture, make it look a little more three-dimensional. Fix that line. Nobody is ever perfect with cookie decorating. And then maybe I'll put a little bit more down here for that weird little bumpy part at the bottom of a shell. Oh, I think that's good. For our starfish, I think it's fun to decorate with one color on top of the same color that was in the background. It just looks nice. It's a clean look, but it looks nice. I'm gonna start with just get my green, and I'm just gonna make some dots on this starfish. I'm gonna start right in the middle. It always helps me when I know where the middle is. And then I'm gonna start with one big dot in the center, and then I'm gonna make smaller ones going along kind of the center of its arms. I don't know if they're called arms. Appendages? Starfish feet? Starfish legs? Who knows? So I'm gonna do that. Just dots coming out. It might also be fun to maybe put some sprinkles on here. That would be fun. Add some color. And then you can go just stop here with the dots, or you could put a ton of tiny little dots. It really doesn't matter. It's really just like how much fun you're having and when you want to stop. And how much icing you like on your cookies too. But I think I'm going to stop there with those. And then we have our cute little fish. I'm going to start by giving my fish, I have orange, and I'm going to give him some scales. So I'm just going to give little curvy scallops for scales. Just using the same color that was for the background. You could use another color though, just to add more fun. I think I'm also gonna put some more on this tail, because I don't wanna make it end too soon. Maybe some like veins to make this tail have a little more texture. I think maybe I'll do the same on his fins. And then I think he needs a face too. I'm gonna grab black for that. Give him a little eye. And a little mouth. A little smile. I think my cookies might be done. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of sad when it's over. But now I have a bunch of cookies to eat. I hope you guys are having fun. Show us some pictures of your cookies so we can see how you did. Bye.